Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Chardonnay, and today I wanted to talk through a sewing project that I'm working on. I wanted to participate in the Simplicity Sew Your View Challenge, and the pattern that they are doing for the Sew Your View Challenge is Simplicity S9707. It is an easy to sew, oversized button-up blouse, and so I wanted to participate in this challenge. However, I just purchased a ton of different patterns and I didn't want to go out and purchase this particular pattern. I wanted to try to use something I already have. And so in this video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of pattern hacking to kind of sew up this piece. And I'm going to be doing it with this pattern that I already have within my stash, which is Simplicity 8546. As you can see, it still has that collar. It's still the button-up placket in the front. And I think that instead of me extending the shirt all the way down, I'm just going to probably cut the material maybe waist length. But I think that this pattern is very similar to this. I think the arms in this particular pattern might be a little bit more tailored and fitted to the model compared to this one. It just looks like the sleeves are a little bit looser. It looks like it might be even slightly a bell sleeve, just based on the way the model is. I think the instructions are pretty much the same when you go back and forth between these two views. They look very similar. It looks like maybe just a gathering within the bust that's a little bit different. So I'm going to attempt to sew up this view, but using this pattern. I'm going to be taking pieces from this pattern as well as the outline from the bottom of this hem and trying to get this look so I can participate in the Sew Your View challenge for this month. So let's get started. see onto these different pieces here. And then I went ahead and applied interfacing to the front placket on both sides. Now, I'm not showing it here, but I had to go back and apply interfacing to the other front piece as well. There's also interfacing along the collar band. And also interfacing on these here cuffs. So you should have a total of 4 interface pieces, as well as marking your notches, darts, and things of that nature. I also went ahead and trimmed the hem just because I wanted this curved hem to fall at a specific section on me. And as you can see here, my interfacing is not perfect, but it's going to get the job done, okay? I just made sure the interfacing was slightly shorter than the fabric piece I was fusing it to. But same thing here, all of my notches and dots are marked, the interfacing is applied. I also have it here on my cuffs. So that's step one, interface and mark everything. So I went ahead and did a stay stitch along the neck on both pieces. So as you can see, I did a stay stitch here and here. Now the next step, I'm going to take this dart and work on this dart and just fold this in. Now I'm just going to go ahead and stitch this dart. Now that I have both my darts in place, I'm going to take this and fold this in half. So now I'm going to take this same section and fold it again here. Then I'm going to go ahead and baste this all the way down. I'll attach the yoke from there. The inverted pleat on the back side, which will be the right side of the fabric, and I have the box pleat on the inside of the blouse, which will be the wrong side of the fabric. And then I am taking the back yoke piece with the right sides facing each other, and I'm just going to sew this across, making sure that all of my notches are lined up, and stitch that across. Okay, so I have my back yoke attached, and I absolutely love this fabric. However, as I'm starting to sew with it, I'm realizing how unforgiving this fabric is, meaning that I made a few stitch hiccups where I got the fabric caught as I was stitching, and I had to pull out my seam ripper and unplug a few of the stitching where the fabric kind of got stuck as I was sewing along this back yoke. And as I started to pluck out the stitches from this fabric, when you get up close on it, you can see that the recovery in this fabric isn't the most forgiving. So I am a tad bit short, and I went ahead and tried on, well, not tried on, but I laid the back piece across my body to just see where the back panel was landing on me, and I am deciding to take off about 2 inches just to shorten it up. And I have the bottom piece laying where I want it to be, but I figured this would be a great place to just kind of show you how I have taken the pattern piece from the other pattern, and I'm going to take it and trim across the bottom edge. I'm going to go ahead and stitch across here, as well as stitch across here. Okay, so now we are moving on to the step where I'm going to be attaching the collar. As you can see, I've already pinned it. I'm going to unpin it and then show you all how I did it on camera. But there is something else that I did off camera that I wanted to show to you all as well. In this step, I put interfacing on both sides. I didn't show that step because I realized that my collar band, it wasn't matching as I was sewing this together, and I realized it didn't have like this little bit of overhang because I did not add the interfacing and fold this over multiple times in one of the steps. So I went ahead and did that, and I know now that the collar is placed on correctly because it hangs off of the front edge by about a centimeter, and it should do that on both sides. So that's helpful to know, and so I just wanted to share with you all this process because this will be helpful for me, that I can look back on my own personal video that I made so I'll know how to do this step in the future. So basically, I have my blouse with the right side facing up and the pleated dart in the back, and I went ahead and took the collar stand and I pinned it around. So in order to know which side is the correct side for the collar stand, you want to make sure that the curved edge, which is this edge, is facing downward when you pin it. And so I have the interface one, which is this one, facing downward, and it's on the back. Because essentially what I'm going to do is sew along here, and then I'm going to sew along the collar band. Then I'm going to sew the actual collar piece, attach the collar piece to here, and then how we're going to hide those seams is we're going to sandwich this collar stand, the collar, and this other collar band to each other. So I know saying it sounds confusing, so I'm going to show you all, and I'm going to show you all by just exactly how I laid this out so you can get a visual of everything before I do it. Okay, so again, I have the right side of my fabric. I made sure that the placket on both sides are folded into the center fold, following the instructions on the pattern. You'll know if you've done this right based off of how the collar band hangs off of the collar once you lay it all out. So right side of fabric, I'm going to lay my blouse out flat like so. So the darts are facing forward. So that's it. And I'm going to take my interfaced collar stand, and I'm going to make sure that the notches here are matching. So as you can see, they're matching here and they are matching here. So I already have it pinned. So right sides together, making sure that those notches are matching and that the curved part of the collar band is facing downward towards the inverted pleat in the back of the blouse. So collar stand is pinned here, and then I am just taking this and pinning it around. The collar. And in some areas it may not fit, or you can feel like the resistance or the tension in the collar. You can just go ahead and snip it. So like here, I'm feeling a little bit of resistance, so I'm going to take my snips and just cut into the collar, making sure not to cut into the stay stitches, but snipping just above the stitch line along the edge so the collar will lay neatly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch this collar band on and then come back and show you all the next step where I sew this and attach it to here. Okay, so we have the collar stand stitched on with a little bit of overhang on each side. A little bit of overhang here, as well as a little bit of overhang here. Not a ton, but so. Collar band is on. The interface collar band is on here. And we have the non-interface one just hanging off to the side. Now we're going to move this out of the way, and we are going to take the actual collar. We have one side of the collar that is interface, and I have put the right sides together, making sure that this is lined at the notches. So now I'm just making sure my notches are aligned here. I'm going to take this and sew it here, 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 and here. And I'm going to leave this part open and reverse it to the other side. Okay, so I have my collar. As you can see, the stitching isn't 100% perfect, and somehow the fabric got a little bit misaligned just because this fabric is really slippery for me to work with. So if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions to how to avoid that, I guess I need to use more clips. But it's not perfect, but I'm going to clip around this anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And I've already kind of reversed it to just see if it'll still have its shape once I do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clip it. I was gonna take it apart and redo it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and clip it. And go ahead and clip here at the corner.
Melting at the bottom of the sea, your words are beautiful thing. All these memories trying to hold me back, but they can't see. I was born to be free.
so now I have the collar stand sewn onto the collar right at those notches. So now I'm going to take the wrong side of the fabric of the other collar stand, and I'm going to sandwich the collar in between this collar stand, matching these notches here again. So I'm going to go ahead and match these notches here. So that end is clipped, and I'm going to sew from here all the way to here. So I want to continue clipping those around. And so now you have it sandwiched. So you have the collar stand with the interface sewn to the collar, and the collar is in between the other collar stand. So now that that's sandwiched, you're going to sew this up. Once you have this sewn up, I'm going to trim the inside and then flip this second collar band down and sew this along the inside. So I'll show you that once I sew up this section. Okay, so I have went ahead and folded this down. Basically, I'm going to be tucking in everything, and I am going ahead and ironing the seams upwards as I kind of go along and pin this in. And then I am going to go ahead and stitch in that ditch all the way around. I've kind of started out doing it here on this end, where I've kind of folded down the collar. I'm going to sew around here, right in the ditch along there. So I'm just going to continue to push the seams upwards and tucking it all in and getting this pin in place. And you'll notice here there's a little bit of puckering along my collar. It's not perfect, but I'm not worried about it because I tried this on, and when you fold the collar and you pop it up, my head is going to be back there, my neck is going to be back there. So if anybody is that close and they see the puckering, okay, they are too close. So I'm not really concerned about that. And I think this is just a part of the process, and I'll learn how to prevent this in the future. But just wanted to share that with you all in case you are experiencing some puckering. Before you go ahead and unplug or bring out your seam ripper, if you can live with it, your head and your neck is going to be covering that. So go about your business, as Miss Tabitha Brown was saying, and just keep going and push through. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm not even going to mind these 1, 2, 3, 4 puckers. Does it bother me a little? Yes, I will admit that, but I can live without it. Okay, so camera died mid me pinning, but I have this all pinned down so you can see. So I have this all pinned away all the way throughout. So now I am going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch this up all the way around, and you can see it's going to be stitched in the ditch along there and cover up that method, and then you'll have a nice collar. right, so this is how the collar turned out. This is the back side, and then this is the front, well, the inside of the collar, and then this is the back underneath. Now, as you'll see in the front, well, I keep saying the front of the front of the collar, but the inside of the collar band, you'll see that it's a little crinkly in some areas. That's just because as I was sewing it, the fabric just kind of gathered as I stitched it. However, it's on the inside, and my head and my neck is going to cover it. Once I pop my collar, the same thing with the inside gathering of the collar. You're not going to be able to see it once it's all buttoned up. And I think it adds a little character, okay? It's cute. It's a little crinkle, won't hurt nobody. It's also on this pleated fabric, so I think that I can get away with it. So let's move on to the next step. So next, I have gone ahead and attached the pocket to each separate side of the blouse. And I'm going to take the entire side seam and stitch it down here around the outside pocket. I'm going to leave this part open and then stitch it down here. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. But first I'm going to attach the pockets from the inside and then go ahead and stitch down, around, and more back down. And so I've already done that on this side, and this is what it looks like. It's not a lot of material that hangs because I have a curved hem, but it's just sewn there. That's stitched together, and then we have that stitched together there. So I'm going to go ahead and sew up this other side and then come back and show you all how I insert the sleeves. Okay, so now I'm taking the sleeve with the right sides facing, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it inside out and make the right sides face each other, making sure to align the notches, making sure that my markings and everything are on the inside. So I've already done that here, and now I'm going to go ahead and stitch up the inner arm seam. So I kind of skipped ahead and did this step out of sequence, which is sewing up the sleeves, the underarm sleeve on both the arms. I did that on both pieces. And then I turned the sleeve back to its right side. And now all I'm going to do is clip along this marking and then also go ahead and make pleats. Now I am taking the sleeve, leaving the side with the notch facing downward, and I'm just going to take the top cuff portion and just fold it down about a 1-inch centimeter, 0.5. I'm really just eyeballing it. I don't even know why I brought that ruler out. I'm just eyeballing it, okay? I don't even really know how to read that thing. I feel like I sew a little bit how I cook. I don't really be measuring and all of that. I should, because the satisfying part about sewing is when it all aligns. It's such a great feeling. And you know when you're on the right track, when the notches and everything just align. It's such a satisfying feeling. And when things not align and you're like, uh-oh, all right, let me pump the brakes, let me slow down, let me figure out what's going on. A fold line, so I'm also going to take this and fold this in half. And it ain't gotta be perfect, okay? It really don't. And now I'm going to take my sleeve, and I decided to not put the pleats in this shirt just because the fabric is pleated that I'm using. But I'm going to take this and inside out my sleeve like that. Then I am going to take the notched area and the notched side, line up those notches on both, boom boom. Go ahead on, and then I'm going to take it to the end and make sure the end matches up. surface now that it is all clipped, and I'm going to sew this here. Along the seam. So I'm going to go ahead and iron this inward and then fold this down and then stitch in the ditch. So now I'm going to stitch all along here as well as the edges. Okay, now that I have the second cuff sewn on, I can go ahead and get ready to attach the sleeve to the armhole. So let's go ahead and get that prepped. So from the inside of the garment, I am going to find the first notch and then the double notch, and I am going to align them. So taking the sleeve and putting it on the inside of the hole, and taking the right sides, matching them together, and I'm going to take the first notch there and clip them together. Now it's kind of hard to tell because of the fabric. It's all the same color, but we just start out with the 2 notches, getting them lined up for the front and the back. See if there's another notch on here. Can't find the other notch, but I'm going to start pinning around the rest of the armhole. Hopefully as I'm pinning, I will come across. Ensure that the seam spread open so it lays flat. Alright, so now I have this flipped all the way around. I have it clipped all the way around. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew this all up. Okay, so let me show y'all how excited I am. I already have the collar, I got a cuff on, and I got a whole sleeve on. Look, okay, look. You know how you just mid-project and you just get so excited? I got so excited, like, yes, I am doing it. It is coming together. And then once I got the sleeve on, look, y'all, the sleeve is on and it's sewn on the outside. So I have to go ahead and unplug this sleeve and then restitch it with the correct side facing inward. So yeah, I got a little bit too excited, but yes, it is coming together. Okay, you got a little pockets. It's coming together, y'all. It is coming to. So excited. I just have to unplug it, but at least we know that I am on the right track. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my seam ripper and detach this, take a little break, and then get back at it. This will be my first time using this cover button kit. This is a 5/8 size button, and it comes with 6 buttons on the inside. And it says that this is washable and dry and cleanable, used for garments, accessories, and home decor. It comes with these different items here on the back: the pusher, the back, the button shell, fabric. You're gonna need tool to cut it out, and your fabric. Let's go ahead and start by cutting this out. Let's try this again. Go ahead and cut out all of your pieces. I already covered 2 of them here. So now I'm just going to go ahead